Hello, this is Mr. Elmhorst with the solving ratio problems using ratio tables. So ratio tables, otherwise known as proportion tables, can help us solve when we are given two-part comparisons. So we identify the two quantities asked about in the question. So we're going to create a ratio table with the context ratio, fill in the given ratio numbers, and then help us solve for the question. And filling in these ratio tables is going to help us complete a proportion. So we take a look at the first one. We have green paint is made by mixing 5 pints of blue, 2 pints of yellow. So we go down here to the question, how many pints of blue paint are needed if you need to make green? So the linked ratio is looking at blue and green. Blue and green. So we have the question side of this proportion, and it says how many blue. So blue is the question, and 28 green is where we need to get to on the solving side. So now we go back to the given context information, and it says we have 5 pints of blue and then 2 pints of yellow. Well, yellow is not in the actual question, but yellow is what we need to make the green. So we look at the given context. We have 5 blue, and some students are going to put 2 down here. Just because they see 2, they see 5, they see 2, and they're going to put it down there. But 2 is not green. 2 is the yellow. What we have to know is that mixing blue and yellow will give us the green. So if we mix them, we have 5 and 2 together. That is going to give us 7 parts green, or 7 pints of green. So now that we've read the question and we set up the ratio blue to green as the question was asking, and we're trying to solve here for x, now we're ready to solve the proportion. So there's a couple different ways to do this. If you don't know factors, you can cross multiply and then divide by 7, but just looking here, there's a simple factor. 7 times 4 is 28. And so 5 times 4 is going to be the solve. So you would need 20 pints of blue to go with 8 pints of yellow to make 28 pints of green. All right, taking a look at the next one, they've got 3 boys, every 3 girls in a dance club. There's 35 students. So if there's 35 students, we're going to go down here to the question. We have students and girls. So there's girls and then students for the ratio. And we go to the question side of this ratio, and it says, if there's 35 students, then how many are girls? How many is the variable or the unknown? We can represent it by x. So how many are girls? So that's our question side, and we're going to solve that. Now we go back to the given. The given information is the first part where the context, it says 3 boys for every 4 girls. So there's 4 girls, and some kids are going to put boys down here, but that is not the ratio that we're looking for. The ratio is girls to students. And if there's 3 boys and 4 girls, then there's going to be 7 students. So we pull that information out of the context, and then we look across the ratio. We look between the ratios here, 7 and 35, and if we see a factor, we can use it. So 7 times 5 is 35, 4 times 5, well, that's also going to be 20. So that's 20 girls, and then there's going to be 15 boys. And the last one, we're making salsa, but then we go down here to the question to see in the question what linked or ratio comparison is being made. It says how many jalapenos, and they're going to use for salsa. So we have jalapenos, and then we have salsa. If Andy has only 9 tomatoes, how many fewer jalapenos should he use to make the salsa? All right, so jalapeno and salsa. Oh, to make salsa, well, looks like we're going to have to use tomatoes. So this is a bit of a trick question because it's got tomatoes, jalapenos, and salsa. But we can use the jalapenos and the tomato information. Those two things are what we need. It's not giving us context for the salsa. So we have to rely on tomatoes and jalapenos. So we go back above and we start with 12 tomatoes and 4 jalapenos. And it looks like there's 9 tomatoes, how many jalapenos? Well, the question is how many jalapenos would you need? So that we're going to put X for that. Now, factors are probably not necessarily going to help. There's 2 ways to do this. Well, we can look within. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So then we can actually use that over there. So 9 divided by 3 would give us 3. So how many fewer jalapenos should he use to make the salsa? He should only use 1 less jalapeno because for this salsa, there's 12 tomatoes, 4 jalapenos, and then there's 9 tomatoes and 3 jalapenos. So how many fewer jalapenos should he use? He should use only 1 less. So make sure your notes are complete. Glue that into your journal. However, don't just glue it into your journal and then close it. The first questions on the assignment are connected to the lesson. So keep the lesson out, and then you can use it to get you going with your mastery practice for classwork.